Do we need an easy mode?
All video games need easy mode!
I don't want to play this anymore.
Some people think we do. Let's talk about it. Recently, more and more people have been discussing difficulty settings in video games. Today, I want to take the time to dive into the topic and explore it a little bit. Before we can try answering the question, we need to take a look at what difficulty, true difficulty, actually is. Increasing the challenge of a video game can be done in a number of different ways. Sometimes in a more natural and true to the game world way, other times it can seem a little bit more artificially increased. Now, that might sound negative, but it's not always bad. Borderlands is a great example. The game becomes more challenging by increasing the damage of the weapons that the enemies hold, they have more health, better defense, all that jazz. The reason that this works in Borderlands is that we too as the player are also leveling up, getting better gear. It's an RPG, so it just kind of works in that sense. But when you try implementing these ideas into, say, a fighting game or a shooter that doesn't rely on skill trees or other RPG aspects, things get a little bit dicier. Shout out to Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat and every single Call of Duty game's campaign mode on Veteran. It's not because the NPCs are just bullet sponges, it's also because the grenades launch at you from nowhere and enemies respawn if you don't push forward enough. It's like, what is this? And these points, we end up having to rely on spammy mechanics and throw away everything else, which feels like a big waste.
One eternity later.
Honestly, exploiting the game's AI is not as fun as just beating them. Good difficulty isn't that hard to find though. Look at any Souls game, most games developed by Naughty Dog, Cuphead. I wish I could say Dragon Ball was on this list, but the single player mode was so easy I stopped caring to finish it.
Pain.
Most difficulty done well has to do with how well the developers can trick you. See, they trick us gamers in a lot of different ways. In ways like making our last little bit of health actually be worth more than it is, cars in last place getting faster even though every car should have a set max speed, or just the general use of DDA. That's dynamic difficulty adjustment. You've probably never heard of the name before, but you've definitely experienced its effects, especially if you're a seasoned Mario Kart player. First place getting coins, last place getting bullets, stars, and mushrooms. That's good old DDA, baby. It's pretty self-explanatory. So now that we know that our difficulty is being adjusted regardless of our decision, does that make an easy mode less or more meaningful? Now, I believe that certain games are tailored to certain gamers, so having an easy mode in a Souls-like game would feel almost disingenuous, and that's not what I look for in art. Video games are art. I'm currently accepting zero debate on the topic. I also see the issue of accessibility come up a lot, and while I do think more accessibility options should be fleshed out in a lot of games, I don't think that this directly correlates to difficulty as much as we believe it does. It always felt like a bit of a crutch argument in my opinion. If a man can play tournaments with his tongue, difficulty isn't the issue. Gamers can push past a barrier like this. Accessibility is a completely different topic, so I'd like to keep that for another day. Now, based on everything that I've said, you probably have an idea of where I stand on the topic. But the truth is, I have mixed feelings. I think that we should have more games with no difficulty options, but on the flip side, I really want more people to experience gaming as a medium, and if an easy mode is what gets that done, then I can understand and even celebrate that. We live in a moment where we have more access and options to gaming than ever before, so everybody has a game out there waiting for them to pick up and fall in love with. For the most part, I'd say that I'm content with how things are in terms of difficulty in video games. The only real tweak I'd like to see the industry make more is games maturing with their audiences. God of War is a great example, Pokemon a terrible one. And yes, Pokemon was initially created for kids, but I'm a Gen 1 Pokemon kid and that was my first video game ever. I'm 25 now. Give me a challenging Pokemon game for the love of Arceus. We need more difficulty in gaming. Hey, and you made it to the end of the video. Now, if you made it this far, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button, maybe drop an opinion in the comments section, or just criticize mine. At the end of the day, I'm fairly new at this, so the more you share it, the more it helps me out. And I really want to keep pushing out some more content, not just about gaming, but about comics and a whole bunch of other stuff, so every little bit counts. Anyways, I'm gonna stop pressuring you. You do you, have a good one, and peace easy.